Who really built America? Who was responsible for building this incredible country with all its great wealth, possibility, opportunity, influence in the world, the America that has shaped the world, certainly over the last 50 years? Who built America? Now, we get all kinds of answers to this question. America was built by the slaves. America was built by the immigrants. Those are probably the two most common answers. In fact, Obama was recently doing a conversation with Bruce Springsteen, and he came out for reparations on the grounds that the slaves, at least to a large degree, built America. Listen.
So if you ask me, theoretically, are reparations justified? The answer is yes. There's not much question, right?
Joining Bruce Springsteen in the latest episode of their joint podcast, Renegades Born in the USA, saying,
the power of this country was built in significant part, not exclusively, maybe not even the majority of it, but a large portion of it was built on the backs of slaves.
Obama always gives me a chuckle because this guy, there's really not much question, is there, Dinesh? It's really obvious. Well, first of all, it's not obvious. Here is, by the way, the great black feminist writer and an anthropologist, Zora Neale Hurston. She's talking about this exact question of reparations. Let me read a few sentences from her book, Dust Tracks on a Road. She's talking about slavery. And this kind of bluntness you'd never get in America today, but this is from someone that they can't cancel. From what I can learn, it was sad, certainly, but my ancestors who lived and died in it are dead. The white men who profited by their labor and lives are dead also. I have no personal memory of those times and no responsibility for them. Neither has the grandson of the man who held my folks. I have no intention of wasting my time beating on old graves. I don't belong to the sobbing school of Negroes who holds that nature somehow has given them a low-down, dirty deal and whose feelings are all hurt by it. Slavery is the price I paid for civilization, and that is worth all that I have paid through my ancestors for it. Boom. This is the kind of intellectual frankness and bravery that Obama is incapable of. Now, let's look at the merits of Obama. Slavery built America. Really? Slavery built a lot of the American South, but what happened to that American South in the Civil War? It was completely leveled and destroyed. So whatever the slaves built was brought to the ground in 1865, and brought into ground by the anti-slavery forces, I should add. It was the industrial strength of the North who built America to some degree. Henry Ford helped to build America. The steel mills helped to build America. The people who put the railroads helped to build America. The telephone and the telegraph helped to build America. And this all leads to a sort of second candidate that turns out also to be kind of wrong. And that is the notion that, hey, Dinesh, who worked on the railroads? Who worked in all these steel mills? It was the immigrants. The immigrants built America. But my answer to that is, yeah, that's partly true, but even that needs to be qualified. And I actually learned this from a great book that I recommend. It's by the Harvard political scientist Samuel Huntington. Who Are We? Who Are We? I don't agree with the whole book, but there's a lot of fascinating information in it. Very, well worth reading. And one of the distinctions that Huntington makes is between immigrants and settlers. Now, the settlers, you could say, were the first immigrants, but here's the difference. Settlers are the ones who build a society. They move permanently from one place to another to create a new kind of society, and they do. Immigrants then are attracted by the kind of society that the settlers made, and they move to that society and they assimilate to it. So the settlers are, you may almost say, the authors or the inventors of the new society to which the immigrants subsequently come. Now, I tweeted this out recently, and it caused all kinds of, pompous comebacks on Twitter. Here's one guy. He goes, Dinesh, define your terms. So I'll define my terms. The Pilgrims were settlers. I'm an immigrant. The Pilgrims built a kind of America to which I, as an immigrant, was subsequently attracted. Anyone else want to tell Dinesh that people had already been settled here prior to the Europeans? This is the good old American Indians were already here. And I go, yes, but they didn't build America, at least not the America that attracted immigrants like me and tens of millions of others to come here. If this had been an America that was left before the Pilgrims came and before the settlers came, this was the America of the native Indians, do you think that I would have come to America and many others? Probably not. And then we have this notion that, well, Dinesh, what about colonialism? What about the history of colonialism? What about the British? Didn't they come and, let me read this. So I guess the British and French were just settling India for all those years? The Germans just settled France during World War II? And I reply, the British never settled in India. They were never settlers. They ruled from afar. They sent people to India, but very few permanently settled in the country. The advantage of being a settler is you're committing yourself to this new place. You're risking your own life, your own family, and your own destiny on it. So I return to my point. Did the slaves build America? In a sense, no. The slaves helped to build America, but that America was destroyed. Did the immigrants build America? They helped to do it. But the people who really built America are the settlers who devised the economic and philosophical and political and even cultural foundations of the country that would dramatically change the world.